Welcome back to Big Mouth. Today we're talking Captain Marvel versus Wonder Woman, the toxicity of gender politics on social media and within the media itself. Now think back to the marketing of Wonder Woman, the positivity that came from Patty Jenkins, the director, and the star Gal Gadot. So inclusive, talking about Wonder Woman being for women and for men, being a strong character, but not stoking up the political fires. Now, yesterday we saw an image of Brie Larson in the Captain Marvel costume. It looks great. I know nothing about Captain Marvel, but I'm a geek, I'm a nerd, I'm a superhero fan, and I can't wait to see the next installment of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Here's the problem. Months ago, we've had Brie Larson negatively talking about white men, talking about white critics. It's been absolutely ridiculous. And then, if you remember rightly, on her Twitter, she spoke about an experience going to fill up her car with gasoline or petrol or whatever it takes. And she spoke about smiling at a man and how he asked for her number and how this was a terrible experience. Things like this are not helping. Now, in the EW cover of her in the Captain Marvel costume yesterday, we heard the phrase, "the future is female," not helping. Now, we know Disney have gone really SJW. Again, not helping. Captain Marvel has so many male fans as well as female fans. Why do you want to trigger them? Why? Is this good marketing? Look at what Disney Star Wars have done. Look at the flop that was Solo, a Star Wars story, because they did the same thing. It just doesn't make sense. Look at the positivity that surrounds Wonder Woman 1984. There's none of this toxicity about gender politics or anything like this, because Warner Brothers will not allow it. They will not allow it because they're smart. You may say, well, the MCU are doing better than the DCEU, so obviously Disney is smart. No, they're not. The only reason the MCU works is because they've allowed Kevin Feige to actually do his thing without any kind of interference. Take him away from the process, you would have a lot of problems. And even now, when we look at the James Gunn problem, look what's happened there. So, and there was another issue yesterday. There was someone who was on Collider asking why Brie Larson wasn't smiling in the image, and then a woman on there said, why doesn't Captain America smile in his pictures? I mean, it's a great point. Listen, I don't give a rat's arse if she's smiling or not. These are not issues I'm interested in. These are not issues I want to debate. But Brie Larson must be the most hated actor to ever play a superhero I've ever seen. There's a lot of people that just don't like her because of the fires that she stoked up. She makes really political comments. And when you're in this position, when you're filming this film and when you're ready to market it, you do not need this. You do not need this kind of heat on a film. So this film's kind of in a bit of trouble because of the negativity that goes with it. And again, think back to Wonder Woman. Think back to the pictures that Patty Jenkins and Gal Gadot were posting of young boys in the Wonder Woman costume. Beautiful, wasn't it? It was positive. It was great. That's one of the reasons the film did so well, because people who would never go and watch a superhero film went to see it, and it made around 800 million globally. That's amazing. It's a really good film. It deserved it. There was even talk of an Oscar, which I never thought it deserved to be nominated or to win Best Film, even though I think it's a wonderful movie as a DC fan. But it's this negativity. You can't go on Twitter without some female verified stoking up the gender politics fires. And you know what? It's starting to grate on me because I do try not to respond to it. But, I just don't know. What frightens me is when we do come to the publicity and the marketing of Captain Marvel, are they going to keep on going with these gender politics issues and talking about, the future is female? It does concern me. I am really worried about it because this is the way films are going. We're always talking about inclusion, we're always talking about diversity, but we're not talking about the films, we're not talking about the creative elements. And are they actually going into these films now, thinking first about diversity and inclusion and politics, and secondly, about making a good film? And the state of some of these films who plug themselves as diverse, you can see it, because we can go and talk about Crazy Rich Asians. There was never talk of diversity in the marketing. This is the film we made. Go and watch it. We went and saw it and we loved it. Not because it was diverse or political, because it was great fun. Who cares who's in the role? Who cares? Of course, a lot of Asian people would have gone to see it. Good for them. I'm glad they're being represented. It's awesome. But once you start patting yourself on the back for being diverse, it means you're not diverse. You're just trying to tick a box. And this is the issue for me. So, I mean, I'm excited that, some of the people that are going to be in Captain Marvel, we've got Coulson, haven't we? And, we've got Nick Fury. So that's all very exciting. And that's what we should be focusing on. Not this nonsense, the future is female. Disney, Marvel, what are you doing? Let us enjoy our geekverse, our geek culture. Stop ruining things for us and getting all political. For me, it's so disappointing. And, yesterday should have been an exciting day where we see a reveal of a superhero actor wearing the brand new costume. Now, I'm no comic book kind of expert, especially when it comes to Captain Marvel, because I was introduced to the comic book universe through Richard Donner's Superman the movie. That's how I fell in love with Superman. That's why I'm wearing this top. I'm proud to be a Superman fan, but I also love the Marvel Cinematic Universe. What they've done is fantastic. So for me, it's just so sad and so disappointing to see these things happening, and you wonder how far it's going to go. Why is the future female? Why isn't the future humanity? Why isn't the future for everyone? Why is the future female? What do you even mean? It stokes up the fires, and for me, it'll be interesting when we see the trailer as well, because it will be this situation of what is Carol Danvers going to be like? Is she going to be an arrogant female who's kind of dissing men all the way through the film? Or will she be an actual character we can embrace? And going back to her not smiling in the picture, she actually does smile a lot in the comics, which again is very interesting. Now, this is kind of the MCU's first female-led movie, and unlike Warner Brothers, I don't think they know how to deal with it. It was like Margot Robbie in Suicide Squad. You never got none of this kind of gender bile. She spoke about the movie, she spoke about the character, Harley Quinn, who's a magnificently popular character, but we never went into the gender politics of it. And again, that film made a lot of money, mainly because Harley Quinn. Whatever you think of that film, she really worked out well in the film. And one of the main reasons it did so well at the box office, even though critics didn't like it, there was a lot of bile spilled about it. I thought it was a good movie without being the best movie of all time, but that's something else now. It's like every movie that's made has to make $1 billion and it has to be the best film of all time. And for me, that's total nonsense. As long as you enjoy the movie you're watching, that's the main thing. But if we go back to Wonder Woman versus Captain Marvel, again, we just look back. We can look back to what's going on with Wonder Woman 1984 and the original Wonder Woman. Positivity, inclusion, it's for everyone. And for me, what Disney just don't get it. Disney just don't understand. Triggering people isn't going to get you anywhere. Causing arguments on Twitter isn't going to get you anywhere, because every time there's a Captain Marvel post, there's so much toxicity in the comments because you, Brie Larson, have stoked up the fires, and you need to stop it. You need to be an actress. You need to promote the movie. You need to talk about it being for everyone. You know damn well, as many men as women love this. I know you want young women to buy tickets and be inspired by this character. And you know what? I hope they are, because they were young women who never watched a superhero film before, were inspired by Wonder Woman. So this is going to be interesting, because both Captain Marvel and Wonder Woman 1984 will actually be released in the same year. And it will be interesting where the positivity comes from and what makes more money. Now, because of the MCU's poll, you would assume that Captain Marvel will make more than Wonder Woman 1984, but that's not certain. Even with the last DCEU movie not doing so well and having this terrible situation where they changed directors, ultimately the DCEU has changed who's working in it. There's more positivity. There's more excitement now with Aquaman coming up and Shazam, Wonder Woman 1984, and so many more films in development. And the way I see the MCU, yes, Avengers Infinity War did extremely well. It was a bloody damn good film, wasn't it? But with the James Gunn thing and the negativity going around Captain Marvel, you do fear for them if they're going to go down this avenue of stoking the fires and winding the public up. It shouldn't be like that. You know, we're in a fantastic era of beautiful superhero films. We are so lucky. People like us are lucky because we're loving it. We're never going to have an era like this again that, you know, may continue for a very long time. But let's not go down this negative avenue. Let's not do this men versus women thing. You know, Captain Marvel is a very exciting moment for a lot of people, because many Captain Marvel fans probably thought they'd never get a film. So it's just exciting. So you would assume they're going to make a really good film. Now, here's something else. During the filming of the first Wonder Woman and the marketing, I knew who Patty Jenkins was. Now, I know they've got, what, 2 female directors, have they, for Captain Marvel? Or is it a woman and a man? I can't remember. I don't know their names. They're not talking very much. Now, I would expect that to change during the marketing. But again, I don't know who they are. They're not really forthcoming. And I also think that's a problem as well. Because Patty Jenkins put her own personality out there, came out talking very inclusively, very positively, it really helped towards the movie. And you could see that Gal and Patty had a great working relationship as well. Again, all this helped. Seeing them sitting there, talking about the film together. This all helps. It's not rocket science, is it? You know, WB got in there quickly. You know, considering the MCU's been going for longer and is a lot more successful than the DCEU, not only did they get in there first with a female-led movie, even though Marvel could have done a Black Widow movie whenever they wanted to, but refused to, they got in there quickly, but they still made a good film. That element of the DCEU wasn't rushed. You can argue doing a Batman v Superman movie was rushed. You can argue a Justice League movie was rushed, but Wonder Woman was the perfect storm. And it worked because they went about it the right way. It was about the character. It wasn't about gender politics. I mean, don't get me wrong. The actual film did get a couple of little feminist bits in there talking about the sex book when they're on the boat, about how women don't need men to have sexual satisfaction, which actually is true. I can't even argue with that. So they got their digs in, but they did it very gently. You know, they tiptoed these things in. So what the problem is with many of these producers in these studios now, they don't do that. They really want to get in there with their size 9s and really make sure you understand about gender politics and their opinions towards it. Hollywood has become very political. Now, some people tell me Hollywood's always been political. Not like this. Before, Hollywood were a bit careful. Yeah, they were political in their movies. They would push their little messages. But again, you could still enjoy the movie. Yeah, the diversity in the politics never ruined the film. That's the thing. The creativity and making money and getting butts on seats was always the most important thing. So from when I look at it now, Wonder Woman v Captain Marvel, let's say Wonder Woman 1984 versus Captain Marvel, well, Wonder Woman 1984 is on top. You know, I think the stuff we've seen from the filming is very exciting. We've seen pictures. The castings that I'm hearing about. Again, really excited, and they're just excited. And I just feel there's more buzz coming out from Wonder Woman 1984 than from Captain Marvel. This shouldn't be the case. It should be so even, so equal. We should be excited for both. But I have to talk about the casting of Brie Larson. I don't understand it. Even if you look at her, I'm thinking, is she really Captain Marvel? You know, and again with Hollywood, you know, someone's shaken somebody else's hand. She knows someone else, and she's got the job. Did she even audition? Kind of a prominent actress. She's a good actress without being one of the best I've seen. And there were so many women out there who could have had this role, who were more suited to it. And as I say, unfortunately for Feige and Disney, she's been talking a bit too much, and it's been on the negative side. It's not helping the marketing. It's not helping the build-up. Now, they're not on the marketing run yet, but they've begun it. You know, they're just about begun it because they released a picture yesterday. So actually, they have begun the marketing run. So we'll get the trailer any day now or next week or whenever. And as I say, the trailer will be really telling. Now, the trailer is an opportunity to bring some positivity to the build-up of this film. But if we keep on going on about gender and the political element, this film may not do as well as it should. And, you know, this is an MCU movie. They always do well. And, of course, this film should do really well because people have been wanting a Captain Marvel film for decades, you know. So it's very, very, very important that this film works. So it's going to be interesting what they do with it. Now, again, to me, it's quite interesting that we've had a Captain Marvel film before Black Widow, seeing that Scarlett Johansson's pretty much been involved with the MCU since the very beginning. I mean, was it Iron Man 2, wasn't it? So for me, I never understood why she never got the film, the standalone film. She's Scarlett Johansson. Why wouldn't this film make money? You know, obvious they were worried that people wouldn't be interested in the Black Widow film. The problem is with Black Widow, if you look at her origin, it's a very dark story. And Feige doesn't really want to go too dark. I mean, he's gone dark a couple of times, hasn't he? But, I mean, since then, we've kind of gone on a bit. Now, obviously, Infinity War was quite a dark movie. But I would suspect that Avengers 4 won't be as dark. So this is the problem as well. I still think that Black Widow should have had her own film years ago. So, for me, I would be concerned if I was Disney. They need to start rebranding Captain Marvel. They need to show that it's for everyone and not just a few people. And Brie Larson, I'm sorry, Brie, you're going to have to change your tack because the superhero kind of universe and fandom does not tolerate people telling them what to think. You know, someone on Twitter today saying, why are people mocking her ordeal at the petrol station after being asked for her phone number? That is not an ordeal. That's why. It's a joke. It's a bad joke that this woman came onto Twitter and said this. I mean, what are these people on? They're living on a bubble. That's the problem. They're living on a big bubble. Everyone's telling them how great they are and how amazing they are. And as soon as they get onto Twitter, they don't like the reaction they get. Well, if you don't like the reaction you're going to get, be nice. You know, just because you have an opinion, don't expect everyone to agree with your opinion because we've all got different opinions. Don't talk about your opinions like they're fact rather than your opinion. At the end of the day, Captain Marvel is just a film we should be looking forward to and enjoying when it comes out. We shouldn't have all this toxicity. But people talk about, you know, toxic fandom and everything. But toxic fandom is created by Hollywood, by the media, by the film pundits. They lead this toxicity. They stir it up and then they blame us for venting and being frustrated. Now, some of us can talk constructively about all this like I'm doing now, but there's a lot of people who haven't got the emotional intelligence to do that. So stop stirring the pot. It's a superhero film, for crying out loud. So let's hope it's a good one.